Robin Williams walked into Koko's habitat, and the 300-pound gorilla did something she'd never done with any human before. Within 10 seconds, she reached out, stole his glasses right off his face, put them on herself, looked in a mirror, and signed 2 words, "Me funny." Then she turned to Robin and signed, "You funny man," while making exaggerated facial expressions in the mirror. For 90 minutes, they played like children. Koko tickled Robin. Robin chased her. They communicated without speaking a word of English. When Robin finally left, he told researchers, "That was the most honest connection of my life." But 13 years later, on August 12, 2014, Koko's handlers sat down with her and showed her a photo of Robin Williams. They signed the news to her. Robin is gone. Robin is dead. What Koko did next was captured on camera. She stared at the photo. Then she signed 3 specific words, slowly and deliberately. Her lower lip began to tremble, the gorilla equivalent of crying. And for the next 3 days, she refused to eat. What those 3 signs meant revealed something about Robin Williams that even his family never fully understood. July 2001. The Gorilla Foundation, Woodside, California. Robin Williams was 50 years old, famous, beloved by millions, and exhausted. He'd just finished filming a movie, done 3 weeks of press junkets, and was running on empty. His publicist had arranged this visit to Koko as a feel-good photo op for a conservation charity. Robin almost canceled. He was tired. He didn't want to perform. He didn't want to be on. But something made him go anyway. Koko was 30 years old. She'd been part of the longest-running interspecies communication study in history. Dr. Penny Patterson had been teaching her American Sign Language since Koko was 1 year old. By 2001, Koko knew over 1,000 signs and understood about 2,000 words of spoken English. She'd met celebrities before. Mr. Rogers had visited. She'd been on magazine covers. She'd communicated with scientists from around the world. But she'd never met anyone quite like Robin Williams. The handlers briefed Robin before he entered the habitat. Koko can be unpredictable. Don't make sudden movements. Don't stare directly into her eyes for too long. Let her come to you, and whatever you do, don't try to be funny. She doesn't understand comedy the way humans do. Just be calm and respectful. Robin nodded, absorbing the rules. Then he stepped into Koko's outdoor habitat, a spacious area with trees, ropes, and places to climb. Koko was sitting in the corner, her massive back to the entrance, apparently uninterested in her visitor. Robin stood there quietly, waiting, doing exactly what the handlers told him to do. Be calm. Be patient. Let her come to you. 10 seconds passed. Then Koko turned around. She looked at Robin. And in one fluid, shockingly fast movement, she crossed the space between them, reached out with her enormous hand, and plucked Robin's glasses right off. His face. Robin blinked, suddenly half blind without his glasses. Koko held the glasses up, examining them with curiosity. Then she put them on her own face. The handlers held their breath. This wasn't supposed to happen. Koko had never taken anyone's glasses before, but before they could intervene, Koko did something that made everyone freeze. She walked over to a mirror that had been placed in her habitat for enrichment purposes. She looked at herself wearing Robin's glasses. And then she signed, clearly and deliberately, "Me funny." Robin, squinting without his glasses, could barely see what was happening. "What did she just say?" he asked the handlers. "She signed, 'Me funny,'" Dr. Patterson said, her voice filled with amazement. "She's never done that before." Then Koko turned around, still wearing the glasses, and looked at Robin. She made an exaggerated facial expression, scrunching up her face, and signed, "You funny man." She was imitating him. She was playing. She was doing comedy. Robin Williams started laughing. Not his public laugh, not his performer laugh. A genuine, surprised, delighted laugh that came from somewhere deep. "Did she just call me a funny man?" he asked through his laughter. "Yes," Dr. Patterson said. "She did." And in that moment, something broke open in Robin Williams. All the rules, all the expectations, all the exhaustion just melted away. He dropped to his knees, getting down to Koko's level, and signed back to her, using the few ASL signs he'd learned from the brief tutorial the handlers had given him. "You funny too." Koko's eyes lit up, and then she did something the handlers had never seen her do with a stranger. She reached out and tickled Robin, gently, playfully, under his arms. Robin burst into laughter and tickled her back. Koko made a sound, a breathy, panting vocalization that gorillas make when they're happy and playing. It was laughter, gorilla laughter. For the next 90 minutes, Robin Williams and Koko played like children. They chased each other around the habitat, they tickled each other, they made faces at each other in the mirror. Koko would sign, "Chase me," and Robin would chase her, then Robin would run away, and Koko would chase him, moving with surprising speed for a 300-pound gorilla. They communicated entirely through gestures, expressions, and the universal language of play. At one point, Koko signed, "Hug," and pulled Robin into an embrace. Robin hugged her back, this massive, gentle creature, and for a moment, he just rested his head against her shoulder. Koko patted his back softly, the way a mother comforts a child. The handlers watching through the observation window had tears in their eyes. They'd never seen Koko this gentle, this playful, this open, with a human visitor. When it was finally time for Robin to leave, Koko didn't want him to go. She signed "Stay," and held onto his hand. Robin signed back, "I have to go, but thank you for playing with me." Koko looked at him for a long moment, then signed, "Friend." She touched his face gently with one massive finger, handed him back his glasses, and watched as he walked away. Outside the habitat, Robin stood with Dr. Patterson and the other handlers, trying to process what had just happened. His eyes were wet. His voice was shaky when he finally spoke. "That was the most honest connection of my life," he said. "She didn't need me to be Robin Williams. She didn't need me to perform or be funny or be anything except present. She just wanted to play. And when I stopped trying to be someone and just played with her, she was happy. Nobody else in my life lets me do that." Dr. Patterson asked him what he meant. Robin explained, his voice quiet and raw. "I've spent my entire life making people laugh, making them love me. Because if I'm not funny, if I'm not performing, who am I? What am I worth?" But Koko didn't care about any of that. She saw me, just me. And she'd love me anyway. Do you know how rare that is? The handlers didn't fully understand what Robin meant that day, but they documented everything. They noted that Koko had been unusually affectionate, unusually playful. They noted that she'd invented a new game, putting on glasses and making faces in the mirror that she would continue to play for months afterward. And they noted that when they showed Koko photos of Robin Williams weeks later, she would sign "Friend" and "Visit" and ask when he was coming back. Robin did come back. Not officially, not for cameras or publicity. He just came back a few months later, quietly, and spent another afternoon with Koko. And then again, a year later. These visits weren't publicized. They were private, sacred, between a man who'd spent his life performing and a gorilla who just wanted to play. What Robin didn't talk about publicly was the darkness that followed him everywhere, the depression that had plagued him since childhood, the feeling that he was only valuable when he was making people laugh, the exhaustion of always being on, always performing, always trying to fill the bottomless pit of need for approval and love. Koko was the only creature in Robin's life who'd met him without any expectations. She didn't know about his movies. She didn't know about his fame. She just knew he was fun to play with. And in those moments with Koko, Robin could stop performing and just be. Over the years, Robin would mention Koko occasionally in interviews. "I met a gorilla once who understood comedy better than most humans," he'd say with a smile. Or, "The gorilla got me. We spoke the same language." But he never explained what he really meant, that Koko had given him something he'd been searching for his entire life: unconditional acceptance. But by 2014, Robin Williams was dying. His brain was being destroyed by Lewy body dementia, a disease so cruel and vicious it felt like torture. He was hallucinating, seeing things that weren't there. He was paranoid, convinced. People were following him. His memory was failing. He couldn't sleep. He'd wake up screaming from nightmares. The man with the fastest mind in comedy couldn't remember his lines on film sets. He'd stand there, frozen, terrified, while his brain misfired and betrayed him. Nobody knew what was wrong. Doctors kept saying it was depression, anxiety, Parkinson's disease. They had no idea that Lewy body dementia was eating his brain alive, destroying the neural pathways that made him who he was. Robin felt like he was going insane. He'd tell his wife, Susan, "Something's wrong with me. Something's really wrong." But nobody understood how bad it was until it was too late. On August 11, 2014, Robin Williams took his own life. The world woke up to the news that one of the greatest comedic minds in history was gone. Millions of people mourned. Tributes poured in from celebrities, politicians, fans. The outpouring of grief was overwhelming. But 50 miles away from where Robin died, at the Gorilla Foundation in Woodside, nobody had told Koko yet. Dr. Penny Patterson and her team agonized over how to tell Koko. Do you tell a gorilla that someone has died? Do they understand death? Do they grieve? The research suggested yes, gorillas had been observed mourning their dead, showing signs of depression and sadness when loved ones died. But this was different. This was telling Koko that a friend she'd known for 13 years, a friend she'd asked about regularly, was never coming back. On August 12, 2014, one day after Robin's death, Dr. Patterson sat down with Koko in her habitat. She brought a photo of Robin Williams, one from their first meeting in 2001. Robin and Koko playing together, both of them smiling. Koko took the photo, looked at it, and signed, "Friend visit?" Dr. Patterson's hands were shaking as she signed back. "Robin, gone, dead, forever." Koko stared at the photo. For a long moment, she didn't move. The handlers watching on camera could see her processing, thinking. And then Koko signed 3 words, slowly and deliberately. 3 words she'd never signed in that combination before, 3 words that made everyone in the observation room start crying. She signed, "Cry, sad, frown." Koko's lower lip began to tremble. Gorillas don't cry tears the way humans do, but they show sadness in other ways. The lip trembling, the down-turned mouth, the soft vocalizations. Koko was grieving. She touched the photo of Robin with one finger, gently, the way she'd touched his face that first day. Then she pulled the photo close to her chest and held it there. For the next 3 days, Koko refused to eat. She sat in the corner of her habitat, holding that photo, occasionally signing to herself. Sad. Friend. Gone. The handlers had never seen her like this. She'd mourned before. When her kitten died years earlier, she'd shown signs of sadness, but this was different. This was deeper. She wasn't just sad. She was grieving the loss of a friend. Dr. Patterson later told reporters Koko understood that Robin was gone, and she mourned him. She mourned the loss of someone who saw her as more than just a research subject, someone who played with her, who treated her with respect and joy. Robin made her feel seen. And when he died, she felt that loss. But here's what the handlers discovered in the weeks after Robin's death. When they reviewed footage of all of Koko's interactions with visitors over the years, they found something remarkable. Robin Williams was the only human visitor Koko had ever initiated play with. Every other celebrity, every other scientist, every other person, Koko had been polite, cooperative, but reserved. With Robin, she dropped all her defenses within seconds. She'd stolen his glasses, she'd tickled him. She'd signed "friend" before he left. The researchers realized something profound. Koko had recognized something in Robin Williams that day in 2001, some authenticity, some playfulness, some genuine joy that cut through all the human complexity and pretense. Gorillas are experts at reading body language, at sensing emotions. Koko had seen past Robin's fame, past his depression, past everything, and recognized a kindred spirit. Someone who understood what it meant to be trapped in expectations, to be seen as one thing when you're really something else, to long for simple, honest connection. And Robin had seen the same thing in Koko. 2 beings from different species, both exhausted by performance and expectation, finding each other and just playing, no judgment, no demands, just joy. In the months after Robin's death, something else happened at the Gorilla Foundation. People started sending letters, donations, tributes to Koko, telling her how much Robin had meant to them. Children sent drawings of Robin and Koko together. Adults sent stories about how Robin's comedy had helped them through depression, through loss, through dark times, and Dr. Patterson would read some of these letters to Koko, signing the words, Koko would respond by signing good or love or friend. She seemed to understand in her own way that Robin had touched many lives, that his death had created a wave of sadness that extended far beyond her habitat. And sometimes, unprompted, she would sign, "Robin visit?" And then, remembering, sign, "Gone." Sad. Today, Koko is no longer alive. She died in 2018 at the age of 46, but before she died, the handlers at the Gorilla Foundation made sure to preserve the video footage of her time with Robin Williams, those 90 minutes of pure, joyful play, the glasses being stolen, the tickling, the chasing, the mirror faces, the laughter, both human and gorilla. They preserved it because it represents something important about both beings. For Robin Williams, that footage captures one of the few moments in his public life where he wasn't performing, where he was just present, just playful, just himself. For Koko, it captures her extraordinary intelligence, her capacity for humor, her ability to connect across species barriers in ways that science is still trying to fully understand. The Gorilla Foundation now uses that footage in their educational programs. They show it to school children learning about animal intelligence. They show it to researchers studying interspecies communication, and every time they show it, people laugh at the joy on screen, and then they cry when they learn the rest of the story about how Koko mourned, about how 3 signs, cry, sad, frown, proved that love and loss transcend species, about how a gorilla understood something about Robin Williams that much of the world missed, that beneath all the performance, all the comedy, all the fame, was someone desperately seeking the kind of simple, honest connection that Koko offered without hesitation. Robin Williams once said in an interview years before he died, "I think animals understand us better than we understand ourselves. They see past all the bullshit. They see who we really are." He was talking about Koko, about how she'd seen him, not Robin Williams the celebrity, but Robin the person who just wanted to play and be accepted and not have to try so hard. And in 2014, when Koko signed Cry, Sad, Frown, she was telling the world something important. She was saying, "I knew him, I loved him, and I will miss him." 3 signs, 3 simple concepts. But they contained everything that mattered about the connection between a gorilla and a comedian who both understood what it meant to be seen, to be known, and to be loved exactly as you are. If this story about connection across species, about the search for authentic love, and about how we all just want to be seen for who we really are, moved you, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Share this with someone who needs to hear that the truest connections in life come when we stop performing and just show up as ourselves. Have you ever felt truly seen by someone or something unexpected? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to ring that notification bell for more incredible true stories about the moments that remind us we're all searching for the same thing: to be known, to be loved, and to be enough exactly as we are.